It seems like the pink sauce is going to be a never-ending story because as the weeks go on, more and more information comes out about the deal between Chef Pii and Dave's Gourmet. Chef Pii has once again spoken out about what happened between her and Dave's, and Dave's has issued their own statement on their website, disproving everything Chef Pii has said so far. It's a mess, so let's get into it. Last month, we learned there were major issues going on with Chef Pii and her deal with Dave's Gourmet. Chef Pii had struck a major deal with Dave's, which pretty much saved her dying invention. After shipping out spoiled products and going on that talk show, a lot of people were done with Chef Pii and her pink sauce. Luckily for her, Dave's Gourmet stepped in and gave her brand some hope for a revival. They reformulated her sauce, gave it new packaging, safe ingredients, and made sure it was being made in a food-safe facility. To top it off, Dave's managed to get the pink sauce on the shelves of Walmarts across the nation. Pretty good deal, considering the state the pink sauce was in pre-Dave's Gourmet. From nearly making people sick and setting herself up for a major lawsuit, to being in retail stores that most business owners could only dream of being in. That's why people were so shocked when Chef Pii started to speak out against Dave's.
They keep trying to silence me. They keep deleting the post because they know if they see it, they know if the people see it, what will happen. They lie to everybody. I don't even know how my posts keep getting deleted, but it just keep getting deleted. And these people, they are afraid because they know they stealing. They know what they doing is wrong.
Last month, she created a GoFundMe looking for $100,000 to help her obtain a lawyer and go after Dave's. Veronica Shaw, also known as Chef Pii, claimed that Dave's took everything away from her and lied to her. She claimed they were withholding payments from her and weren't being transparent with sales records. Veronica said Dave's was supposed to reimburse her for marketing expenses that she used out of her own pocket to advertise the pink sauce, and claimed they have yet to do so. To make the situation even worse, Veronica claimed that she didn't have enough money to feed her kids or buy them school supplies and was days away from being evicted. Dave's came out and they denied the claims that Chef Pii was making. They said that they had paid her $120,000 and continued to make any and all payments owed to her. Keep in mind, it's only been a year since Chef Pii signed with Dave's. That's a pretty big amount of money to make in your first year of business and then lose in your first year of business. Most of Chef Pii's advertising was done on TikTok, so people were confused where all this money went. After Dave spoke out the first time, Chef Pii went quiet, making everyone assume that they were working things out in private. Well, that was too good to be true, and Chef Pii is once again dragging Dave's Gourmet. She took the situation to her YouTube channel, and it sounds like she's just as upset with Dave's as she was last month. She started off by addressing the total payment of $120,000 that Dave's claimed they made to her for the pink sauce sales.
So first of all, I want to acknowledge this $120,000 that they've responded to the blog saying that they paid me. So number one, it wasn't an upfront payment of $120,000 straightforward. It was sent to me partially, but they were partial payments, and then also a huge chunk of that money went towards me paying for Airbnb and paying for hotels, because mind y'all, I was homeless for 6 months following this, in which I kept having a security issue because I was promised that I would receive legal help for people spreading false narratives about the pink sauce. However, that never happened.
I'm not sure why it matters whether she was paid $120,000 upfront or whether the payments were made in installments. $120,000 upfront or $120,000 over a year is still $120,000. That's a lot of money to make in such a short amount of time. I'm not really sure how her staying in all these hotels and stuff is Dave's fault. She's claiming that this company was going to help her get a lawyer and go after people talking about the pink sauce, and I mean, we don't really know if that's true or not, but to me, that seems like a waste of money. People are allowed to have their own thoughts about the pink sauce and talk about it, especially after the horrible start it had. The only mention of any lawyer that I've seen from Dave's was in the statement that they gave to Insider, where they said that they had offered to reimburse Chef Pii for her lawyer's time to go over the contract and the payments. Like, here Chef Pii is completely dragging this brand and airing out all her contracts and everything that I'm sure was supposed to be private. And they're willing to pay the lawyer that she hired just so they can get the situation under control. Chef Pii then brought up the issue that she had with her royalty and how it was being paid. She claims it was supposed to be paid to her before any other expenses, but says Dave's is now paying her royalty after expenses and claims that they're defrauding her.
My royalty is supposed to be paid to me before any expenses. Before any expenses, I'm supposed to be cut my check. However, little do y'all know, or y'all do not know because I've been silent for so long. We've been going through this since January. So I literally have proof as to how the royalty was collected when I received my royalty for Q1. When I received my royalty for Q1, it was paid to me before any expenses. Now that I'm uncomfortable and they know that I would have been hiring legal help, they make this bogus excuse as to why they're putting expenses on top of my royalty. It does not work like that. So it's like, long story short, these people defrauded me. So I would have to sue them for fraud.
She also talked about how she feels about the marketing. Chef Pii said that she was unhappy with the efforts that Dave's was making towards marketing and claims their lack of marketing made the product suffer.
Because when we had negotiation, this is an innovative brand. This is an innovative product, which comes with risk, which means that money has to be allocated and put into marketing. The marketing is the company. They did not do that, which caused me to suffer drastically.
One of the things Chef Pii was upset about was Dave's not going through with this marketing idea that she came up with. She wanted to do a whole Barbie themed promo without directly using the Barbie trademark font, but apparently Dave's didn't support the idea.
And no, we wouldn't have used Barbie font. I know people commented on that as well. Like, there are certain ways to do certain things subliminally, but it would have been done, but none of that was supported.
Something tells me that Dave's probably has their own legal team with trademark lawyers who probably know that it's pretty hard to do a Barbie theme without infringing on the Barbie trademark. I'm sure if it was something they could work around and have it be like this massive hit without facing any legal backlash, they probably would have done it. Now, this next complaint is actually pretty funny. Chef Pii took issue with the color of the sauce that Dave's was producing.
Y'all deserve to see a fabulous sauce, and that is not what this is giving. This is giving beige sauce. I created the pink sauce, which is a vibrant, bright colored, beautiful, scrumptious, delicious sauce, and that is not what y'all getting.
A running joke within this whole pink sauce situation has been how drastically the color of the pink sauce is always changing. When Chef Pii first showed it on TikTok, it was like this really bright pink, and as time got on, it got paler and paler. Then when Dave's launched it, some bottles were muted pink, some were a bit less pink, and Chef Pii didn't like that. At least the Dave's Gourmet version wasn't showing up on people's doorsteps exploded with spoiled milk products in it with spelling errors and labeling errors. Dave's even has a disclaimer about the color variation on the website, which says, "The exact color or shade of pink will always vary slightly from batch to batch due to the natural variation in color of the dragon fruit and other natural spices used to create pink sauce. We do not offer refunds related to the shade of pink." It's just kind of funny that she's sitting there dragging the pink sauce for the color when she couldn't even keep her own sauce consistent. She ended her video off by saying going forward, if she ever gets another deal with another company, she's going to make sure that she has everything in writing before going forward with anything. Pretty much still insinuating that Dave's isn't being honest with how much they're paying her. So that was a lot, but it doesn't even stop there because Dave's has responded and they're done playing nice. Dave's released a statement on their website and they've detailed all the facts about their deal with Chef Pii and aired out the truth about the money and the payments. It sounds like they've been more than generous with the funds that they've paid her, even giving her advances to help pay her own bills, and even covering the refunds that she was supposed to pay back to customers who bought the pink sauce way before Dave's even stepped in. They wrote, in August 2022, Dave's Gourmet signed an agreement with Veronica Shaw and her entities, Pink Sauce LLC and Flavor Crazy Inc., in which Flavor Crazy / Pink Sauce / Shaw were responsible for promoting pink sauce through the digital content, and Dave's Gourmet was in charge of achieving the required shelf stability for the product, making the formula acceptable for commercial production, and following FDA's food production guidelines, production, and sales of the pink sauce product online and to retailers. At the time, Shaw was not producing pink sauce because FDA instructed her to cease all the production due to quality concerns. She was shipping pink sauce in her kitchen and was shipping it without refrigeration in the heat of the summer, and the sauce frequently went bad during shipping, as evidenced by many social media posts from buyers. The sauce was not shelf stable and was not safe for shipping without refrigeration. There was huge negative publicity online and on social media due to the quality issues that Shaw had experienced. According to the agreement, Shaw received an upfront payment of $45,000 as a part of the agreement for Dave's Gourmet to pursue the sales of pink sauce. According to the agreement, Ms. Shaw was responsible for all the refunds for the products that predated the agreement. After the agreement was signed, it turned out that neither Shaw nor her entities had enough funds to cover all the refunds to the people who never received the product that she was responsible for according to the agreement. It is our belief that Shaw was fully aware that there were not enough funds to cover the refunds. There was a hold put on by Shopify and PayPal on most of the cash in her accounts due to multiple customer complaints, and even the cash that was there was mostly not available to pay refunds. Dave's Gourmet couldn't see the customers disappointed with no product and no refund, so it provided approximately $30,000 to cover the refunds, even though this was Shaw's responsibility. Some of these refunds came back to Dave's Gourmet after the hold on Shaw's account was lifted by PayPal and Shopify. Prior to entering the partnership with Dave's Gourmet, Shaw reviewed and negotiated the contract with help from her attorney. According to the contract, Shaw receives royalties that depend on the sale of pink sauce, and also there is milestone payments if certain goals are met. All payments have been communicated and paid on time in accordance with the agreement. Dave's Gourmet also advised Veronica that pink sauce royalties should not be her only source of income, as they can fluctuate, and she should have a regular job to make sure that she has financial stability. At the time, Dave's Gourmet did not know if any sales would be generated from pink sauce. In the fall of 2022, Shaw was struggling financially. Dave's Gourmet wanted to be helpful, and over the course of several months, provided Shaw with multiple cash advances that totaled more than $40,000 without charging Shaw interest or fees. These advances were supposed to be offset by the future royalties that Shaw was going to earn. In March 2023, Shaw communicated that she had spent the entirety of her previous advances and that she needed another advance to feed her children and to avoid being evicted. Dave's Gourmet sent her 2 advances that totaled $5,000, but again, encouraged her to continue working her other job and pursue her private chef career as she had been doing prior to partnering to commercially produce pink sauce. Shaw wanted to know more about activities related to pink sauce at Dave's Gourmet. In the beginning of 2022, the Dave's Gourmet team set up a weekly standing meeting to discuss brand strategy to support and collaborate with Shaw. Shaw attended only a couple of these meetings and has not been in attendance since. February 2023, Veronica requested over $10,000 in marketing expenses to throw herself a birthday party, and also provided a request for Dave's Gourmet to pay her dress that cost more than $800 and shoes which cost over $600 that would potentially be used in a TikTok video. Dave's Gourmet suggested a smaller budget, and because Dave's Gourmet would not approve these expenses, Shaw refused to collaborate or contribute to marketing efforts alongside Dave's Gourmet moving forward. February 2023, Shaw attempted to submit business expenses reports for personal expenses, like buying 4 pairs of sneakers or expensing her grocery bills. Dave's Gourmet informed her that such activities are fraudulent and asked a lot of questions related to receipts submitted. Shaw did not respond to any of those questions. May 2023, due to the large advances on Shaw's royalty payment, the balance of Q1 royalties owed to Shaw came to $666.86. Dave's Gourmet decided to hold off on deducting $10,000 in advances from the royalties due until a later period so that Shaw has more funds to cover her needs at the time, and instead paid Shaw $10,666.68. This balance and all payments processed have been outlined and communicated to Veronica consistently. Dave's Gourmet deducted the above-mentioned advances of $10,000 at the second quarter royalty payment. June 2023, Shaw submitted an expense report to Dave's Gourmet that included requests for payment for her time dedicated to making social media content. Such request was outside of the terms of the agreement. Dave's Gourmet asked for clarifications related to the various expenses listed by Shaw, but backups, receipts, and explanations were not provided. Dave's Gourmet reminded Shaw that business expenses need to be pre-approved by Dave's Gourmet. Dave's Gourmet has kept this timeline of information private leading up until Veronica took to social media with defamatory statements regarding the integrity of our business, which has put us in an unfortunate position to share details that would have otherwise remained private. In total, Veronica Shaw has received over $120,000 in payments from her partnership with Dave's Gourmet and Pink Sauce since August of 2022 to date. She had certain obligations in the contract related to social media activities that she has violated multiple times, but Dave's Gourmet chose not to enforce them, not to create a strained relationship. After Shaw went to social media to create the illusion that she's not being compensated properly, Dave's Gourmet communicated to both Shaw and her attorney that Dave's Gourmet will cover the cost of Shaw's legal counsel to go through the provisions of the agreement and the payments to explain that the payments were correct and Dave's Gourmet is following the agreement. The proposal was rejected by Shaw. This is just crazy to me. If all of this is true, then they've been more than generous with the amount of money that they've paid to her, and if anything, it sounds like Chef Pii was the one taking advantage of their generosity. It was Chef Pii's duty to pay back the money that she owed to people who bought her expired sauce from TikTok. She obviously spent that money fast and didn't have enough, and instead of letting her suffer the consequences, Dave stepped in and saved her. They didn't have to do that. If all of this is true, then that's pretty bad on Chef Pii's part. The fact that she's asking for donations and people are actually donating money to her when she's made over $120,000 in a year, more than most normal people make, is sick. A part of me does feel bad for Dave's being painted in a bad light like this when they did take a chance on her and gave her this opportunity, but also, I feel like this should be a huge lesson to brands not to collaborate with just anyone from TikTok. There's so many more deserving business owners on TikTok who actually make sure they're following guidelines and sell safe products that deserve to be in Walmart and deserve to make the kind of money that Chef Pii was making. I get it, it's a business, but it's just a shame that these kind of opportunities aren't being presented to brand owners who follow the rules and actually deserve to have a big break like this. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about everything down below, and I'll see you next time.